Hi, folks. Hope everybody's okay. Love to everybody out there. God bless you. I just want to show you this video. Um, just a little bit.
That Jesus has sort of come to us in recent times implies that he doesn't think Jesus was there with Moses. So fast forward to the Q&A period when a YouTuber called GodLogic gets up and he asks me a question.
You mentioned in Hebrews 1 where God is speaking, or God spoke to our through prophets. Now he speaks to us through his son, and you're saying, where was Jesus then? Back then he should have been active. And so regarding Hebrews, I just want to read you this and get your thoughts on this. Okay, it's Hebrews 11. Regarding Moses, it says, by faith Moses, and I'm gonna just skip down to 25 and 26 for time, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin, he considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. So how is it that Moses can be considering Christ's disapproval if Christ wasn't around for him to disapprove?
And I was like, good point. Yeah, in fairness, why would the author of Hebrews place Christ in the time of Moses if he did?
So that's the video there. So I just wanted to. Alex O'Connor. I've watched Alex O'Connor's career over the years when he first started out, where he was just doing philosophy, and then he's become more of a polemicist for atheism. And just a couple of observations. He's very good and talented at philosophy. There's no doubt about it. He has a real ability in philosophical analysis. But he seems to have pivoted towards studying the Bible and getting into theology, and so that he can debate Christians on the Gospels, whether they teach about the divinity of Christ or whether they're historical. And I commend that. It is a kind of big change in the atheist realm. Someone of his caliber, taking the time out to study theology in order to debate Christians on that topic. And I commend him for that. But I do think that it's a weak point within atheism. It's a weak point within his ability. It's not his forte. His forte is philosophy. His forte is not historical inquiry. His forte is not historical Jesus studies. He picks up a lot of historical Jesus studies. He doesn't realize, for a man who's well trained in philosophy, he doesn't realize how many philosophical baggages, these intellectual methodologies that he picks up in theology have. He doesn't realize the background to, say, for example, a guy called C.F. Bauer, who had the ideas about 150 years ago of Paul invented Christianity. For a man who is trained in philosophy, he doesn't realize that this guy was influenced, C.F. Bauer was influenced by Hegelian philosophy. So he's studying theology, he's studying historical Jesus studies, but he's not aware of the philosophy behind some of these methodologies that he's using. So to me, he's an amateur in this area. He's not competent. Do I respect him and I respect his philosophical ability? He is not competent to be engaging in theological debate. And so when GodLogic turned up and asked him a question, he stumbled. Now, a year later, Alex has come back to this and he's started to complain about it, saying it's annoying that this video keeps cropping up showing that he got exposed. Well, the thing is that he did get exposed. He was making the claim that Jesus was not divine or seen as divine by the early church of that time, but GodLogic showed a passage of scripture that showed that in the time of Moses, he was thinking about Christ, according to the book of Hebrews. And so Alex is crying about it. He's upset about it. And I would just say, man up, just be a man. We can't win them all. Like you said, sometimes we get corrected and move on. But I would say that he is not competent to be debating theology. And it's a weak point, but it is refreshing that it is at least trying. And he's very naive as to the sources that he's using. He's not really critical of his own sources. He's not aware of the philosophical baggage that his own sources have when he's using theology. I'll give you another example. Take Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman's PhD in textual criticism. And basically, Bart Ehrman was using, for his thesis, he was using a guy called Walter Bauer, who wrote around about 1930. Now, Walter Bauer had a philosophical belief that there's no such thing as one community. And so he studied like 4 different areas of the ancient world and said, look, the Christians were different. But it was based on this philosophical point of view, there's no such thing as one community. That theory went into Bart Ehrman's PhD on textual criticism. That's an example of how philosophy gets into theology, gets into biblical studies. But Alex, with all due respect, you're very naive. You don't really know these things. So when you're using these intellectual arguments in theology and Bible, you really don't realize the baggage that these tools that you're using carry. You're out of your depth. But in Alex's career, I really respect him. He is a very wonderful gentleman. He conducts himself in an amazing way, really nice way. He does try his best to engage with people, and he is a credit to atheism. And I believe one day that this man, I'm praying, will give his heart to the Lord, that he will become a child of God. And when he does, he'll be a great defender of the Christian faith. So all the best, Alex. I wish you all the best for the new year. And I pray that you'd have some good engagements and that you will come to know the Lord. So there we are. All right, God bless you. I might do a stream later. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit tired. So, all right, love you all and God bless you all. Take care.